I've survived firefights, ambushes, and missions that were never meant to be acknowledged. But the most dangerous day of my service started with a calm voice on the radio saying, "All friendly units are accounted for." That's when I knew someone was lying, and that if I trusted that voice, men were going to die. My name is Daniel Hawk Mercer. I spent 16 years in the United States Marine Corps. Infantry first, recon later. Enough deployments that the calendar stopped meaning anything. People ask me sometimes what combat feels like. They expect explosions, gunfire, chaos. They're wrong. Combat feels like waiting. Waiting for the wrong thing to happen. Waiting to see if your instincts were right. And the older you get, the less you trust silence. This story isn't about my bravest moment. It's about the moment I stopped listening to orders and started listening to something much older. Experience. We were inserted just before dawn into a coastal industrial zone that used to export steel. Now it exported death. The mission briefing was clean. Too clean. Objective. Secure a perimeter. Support an Allied convoy passing through the zone. Hold until relieved. No recon push. No deep sweep. No heroics. I remember leaning back in my chair and thinking, if it's this simple, someone already screwed up. Our platoon commander was young, smart, book perfect. He trusted the intel because it came from higher command. I didn't. Intel doesn't smell right when it's rushed. And this one reeked. We moved in with 8 men. Urban coastline. Rusted cranes. Warehouses stacked like coffins. Seagulls screaming overhead like they knew something we didn't. The streets were empty. Too empty. No civilians. No dogs. No traffic. I raised my fist and halted the column. Sergeant Luis Ortega leaned in. "You feel it too?" "Yeah," I said. City's holding its breath. We took positions inside an abandoned logistics building overlooking the main road. Perfect vantage point. Too perfect. I scanned rooftops with my optics. Nothing. But I kept seeing movement at the edge of my vision. Not movement. Absence. Like places where people should be. 30 minutes in, the convoy was late. Command radioed in. "Marine element, confirm status." I answered. "Perimeter secure. No contact." The voice replied instantly. "Copy. All friendly units accounted for." I froze. I looked around. We were the only Marines in that sector. I keyed the mic again. "Say again, command." A pause. Too long. Then, "All friendly units accounted for. Continue mission." Ortega stared at me. "That doesn't make sense." "No," I said quietly. "It doesn't." I switched channels. "Any Allied units in our grid, sound off." Static. Then a whisper. "We're not supposed to be here." My blood went cold. The transmission was weak. Broken. But it was real. Convoy hit, north side. Ortega grabbed my arm. "That's not command." "No," I said. "That's a survivor." The official channel crackled again. "Marine element. Maintain position." I ignored it. "Unknown station." I said into the mic. "This is U.S. Marines." "Identify." Silence. Then breathing. Fast. Panicked. "They told us you were covering us." I closed my eyes. They lied to them too. Orders were clear. Stay put. Hold perimeter. Let the convoy pass or fail without us. But Marines don't leave people to die because a radio told them not to care. I looked at my men. Every one of them was watching me. Waiting. I keyed the mic to platoon command. "Command, we have unaccounted Allied personnel in our sector. Request permission to investigate." The response came fast. "Negative. Maintain position." I didn't argue. I turned to my squad. "We're moving." No one questioned it. Because Marines don't follow rank. They follow trust. We advanced toward the north side warehouse district. The closer we got, the louder the city became. Gunfire echoes. Distant shouting. Metal clanging like alarms that never stopped ringing. We found the first body near an overturned truck. Allied uniform. Radio still clutched in his hand. Eyes open. I knelt and closed them. Ortega whispered, "They ambushed them." "Yeah," I said. "And they used us as bait." Suddenly, the radio screamed. "Contact! Gunfire erupted from the rooftops. We dove for cover as rounds shattered concrete inches from our heads. I returned fire, marking muzzle flashes. This wasn't random. This was planned. And someone at command level had set the board. Pinned down. Outnumbered. I made a decision that would have ended my career if it failed. I switched to the open channel. All units in sector, I said loudly, this is Hawk. If you can hear me, move to the water. Ortega stared at me. You just told the enemy. No, I said. I told the people they're hunting. Then I did something worse. I cut the command channel. For the first time in my career, I went radio silent to my own chain of command. Because the radio had lied once. And once is enough. We fought our way into the warehouse district one block at a time. The enemy was disciplined. Not militia chaos, trained movement, overlapping fields of fire, controlled retreats. Someone had rehearsed this, which meant the convoy wasn't just unlucky. It was scheduled. Ortega slid in next to me behind a concrete divider, rounds snapping overhead. This wasn't meant to kill us, he shouted. They wanted us fixed in place. I nodded. Yeah, we're the noise. Behind us, the coastline thundered as waves hit steel pylons. In front of us, the district burned. I keyed my radio again, this time on the open channel. All friendly units, Hawk here. If you're alive, move south. Use smoke if you have it. Static. Then a voice, different from before. Older. Steadier. This is convoy lead. We're down to 3 vehicles, pinned near the docks. My jaw tightened. Hold position, I replied. We're coming to you. Ortega stared at me. That's straight through the kill zone. Yeah, I said. That's why no one expects it. I didn't give a speech. Didn't have to. Marines don't need motivation when the choice is simple. Leave people behind, or don't. We moved fast, smoke out, bounding in pairs. Ortega and I took point, drawing fire while the rest pushed the wounded alley by alley. We lost comms completely, jamming kicked in hard. That's when you find out who you are without orders. A round clipped my shoulder, spun me into a wall. Pain flared hot and sharp. I ignored it. Pain fades. Regret doesn't. We reached the docks under cover of a burning fuel container. And that's when we saw them. The convoy, or what was left of it. 2 trucks destroyed. 1 disabled. Civilians scattered behind crates. Allied security fighting from wreckage with empty eyes and shaking hands. They looked at us like we were ghosts. One man stumbled toward me. They said Marines were covering us, he said, voice cracking. They said, I know, I cut in. Get your people ready. We're leaving. Gunfire intensified instantly. The enemy realized their prize was slipping away. In the middle of the chaos, my radio came back to life. Clear. Calm. Marine element, the voice said. Return to your original position immediately. I recognized it now. Not the operator. The planner. Someone high enough to sound untouchable. I keyed the mic. Negative, I said. We're evacuating Allied personnel. The reply was ice cold. You are exceeding your authority. I laughed, actually laughed, while rounds kicked up sparks around us. With respect, I said, you exceeded yours first. There was a pause. Then the voice dropped the mask. This mission was not about the convoy. I felt my blood chill. What? I demanded. The convoy was expendable, the voice said. Their presence drew enemy forces into the open. You were meant to observe patterns. Ortega heard it too. His face went white with rage. You used civilians as bait, he growled into the mic. The voice didn't deny it. Stand down, it said. This is an order. I stared at the wounded men and terrified civilians huddled behind us. Then I said the words that ended my career, or saved it. No. I smashed the radio against the dock wall. They came at us hard after that. The enemy knew time was against them now. We formed a defensive arc around the last truck, loading civilians and wounded under fire. Ammo ran low. Smoke choked the air. One of my Marines went down, non-lethal but out. Ortega dragged him back without hesitation. We held. Because Marines don't retreat when people are still breathing behind them. Just when it felt like the line would break. The sky answered. Jets screamed overhead. Explosions marched down the far side of the district. The enemy scattered. Air support. Real support. Someone else had heard the open channel. Someone else had decided to act. We exfiltrated at dawn. The sea was calm like nothing had happened. I sat on the deck of the transport ship, shoulder bandaged, watching civilians wrapped in blankets drink water with shaking hands. A young boy looked at me and asked, "Are you a hero?" I shook my head. "I'm a Marine," I said. That's all. I was relieved of command 2 weeks later. Administrative reassignment, they called it. No charges. No court-martial. Just silence. But here's the part they didn't expect. An investigation followed. Too many open-channel recordings. Too many witnesses. Too many lives saved. The voice on the radio retired early. Quietly. I'm out now. Retired. Some nights I still hear that calm voice saying, all friendly units are accounted for. But I also hear something else. Children laughing. Engines starting. Marines moving when they shouldn't have, because it was right. And if you ask me whether I regret disobeying orders that day, I don't even have to think about it. Because the radio lied. But we didn't. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Epic Recon Stories. Here we tell the missions that never made the headlines, the decisions made in silence, and the people who carried them. More stories are coming soon.